You are the founder of this amazing organization, Unity Solutions, which works and promotes cultural diversity and inclusion. You're also a certified coach. You are a published author. You're an acclaimed motivational speaker. You were a professor for 13 years and you practice nursing as a registered nurse for 22 years. I don't know. Can I go on? It's like a song, a beautiful song that I want to keep listening to that song. You have received multiple awards for your accomplishments. Top 10 most inspiring women in Delaware, worldwide leader in healthcare, top nurse in Delaware, Spirit of Nursing Award by the U.S. Army, inducted into the National Society of Leadership Success by your alma mater, the University of Phoenix, and so much more. Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now
So
you make
what
me
else?
blush.
What else is not in the things that I said about you that you would like the public to get to know about you?
Well, I think the most important thing, I am one of those people who always say the credentials are just degrees. Okay. We all grow up and we all want to accomplish certain things. But the most beautiful thing that I always wanted to bring to the limelight is the fact that I'm a mother of the two most beautiful children the world has yet
Oh,
to see. And it brings me great joy. It brings me a lot of pleasure. You know, my son says I should call him my sweetheart and his daddy's son. So that to
oh.
me melts my heart. So that is my most treasure, regardless of the many degrees and the many accomplishments. It's truly all about my children, and it's Keith and Caitlin.
All right. So there we have a picture of your dad. And I'm
Yes.
trying to find that picture. I think I got the one with your daughter a little late.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll definitely come back to that later on. Doctor, take us to a little history about you. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about family. I know we have your dad, who you told us has a very special relationship with you. Just take us to all of that parkour of yours.
What a beautiful start of your program. Thank you so much. Well, as you all know, I am from the cornfields of Cameroon. For those of you who have listened to my talks before, I come from the cornfields of Cameroon, particularly from Kumbo in the Northwest region, or from So. And I am
Mm-hmm.
the first of six children, three boys and three girls. And of course, mom and dad are wonderful people, and dad was a teacher for 50 years. So, of course, while growing up as a little girl, as daddy's little girl, I
Yeah.
wanted to be a teacher just like him. As you can
Wow.
imagine, you're home, you're seeing all the students come in, and it just was a beautiful way to see him impacting lives. So I wanted to be like him when I grew up. So after high school, and I chose to go to the university, which was the French-speaking University of Yaoundé, to get a
Mm-hmm.
degree and just become a teacher like that. But beginning at the age of 12, I knew as a Cameroonian that I had to learn the French language in order to succeed academically in my
Mm-hmm.
country. So
Yeah.
going to the university and not able to speak French, seeing that as someone else's responsibility, I refused to learn that language.
Oh
So
my
guess what?
God.
I ended up failing out of the university at the tender age of 21.
Okay.
So you can only imagine how devastating that was.
Very frustrating.
I did not see light at the end of the tunnel because
Yeah.
I felt like an embarrassment to my parents.
Yeah.
When in Cameroon,
Yeah.
a teacher's child is seen as this person who has to succeed.
The brightest kid,
Yes,
the brightest ones.
you have no choice, right? So I
Yeah.
felt like I had let my parents down. But thankfully, I was given a second chance. And I'm sure those of you watching, you've been given a second chance in your life somewhere, and
Oh
you do
yes.
not play with second chances.
Yeah.
So that mom and dad actually were able to sell a piece of property to send me to Canada to
Oh
study
wow.
dental therapy. And when I arrived Canada, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, particularly, I
Mm-hmm.
vowed to myself that I will never fail at anything again in life.
Mm-hmm.
Bonsoir. I see somebody saying bonsoir on the
Claude
thing. So,
Songe. He
yes.
is a Cameroonian cultural promoter. He's in Paris. a
Oh,
very
okay.
big supporter and top fan of Gwendy Media.
Good evening, Claude. Yes. So, I made a promise to myself that I will never fail at anything again. While refusing to learn the language in Yaoundé, that was my first experience with cultural awareness because I failed at my cultural responsiveness. So,
Yeah.
arriving in Canada, you would have thought that while studying, which I did beautifully well, and earn a job, but I
Mm-hmm.
failed at yet another cultural responsiveness opportunity
Mm-hmm.
because I did not allow my Canadian brothers and sisters to embrace my differences and I embraced them so we could learn from each other's values and beliefs. And I
Okay.
ended up, despite the fact that I was successful in Canada, I ended up living very disheartened and lonely for the Washington, D.C. area, thinking that I was going to find people that looked like me in the D.C. area.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Wow.
but when I got to the Washington, D.C. area, I realized that I was not looking for people that looked like me. I
Yeah.
was looking for a place to call home.
Okay.
And that home will eventually make it in Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
But
And so
then,
are you saying that, sorry to cut you short. So
mhm,
you went to Canada. Hey, I just want to invite all of you to share the video and give us those likes and those love buttons. It helps a lot with the program. Thank you so much. And share the video as well. So Doc, you're telling us about your story from Yaoundé to Canada and then to the United States. So
mhm.
are you saying that you were not able to find home in Canada? Like, why do you think that?
Like I said, while in Canada, as an immigrant, sometimes we look for the dream that we're pursuing a dream, or
Yes.
we have this tunnel vision. And I went to Canada with the intent of getting the degree that I wanted in Cameroon, but I had
Mm-hmm.
failed. So
Mm-hmm.
while in Canada, I did focus on my studies to where I forgot to embrace those that were around me. Because
Okay.
life, you do not live life in a lonely state. You
Yeah.
live life, it's holistic if you look at it from that aspect. There
Mm-hmm.
is psychological aspect, there's physical, there's emotional, there's
Mm-hmm.
mental that
Mm-hmm.
make you that whole human. So
Yeah.
while in Canada, even though I was successful in getting the diploma in dental therapy, I
Mm-hmm.
failed at my social life because I
Oh
did
wow.
not embrace those who were different from me. Because there's more to life than just education or academics. So I
Yeah.
failed to embrace them to really get to understand the human being that we
Mm-hmm.
all are. So as a result of that, I ended up leaving. And also, I wanted further education. So those
Mm-hmm.
two things made me leave Canada. But more particularly, when it comes to the diversity part of it, I failed at embracing my Canadian brothers and sisters.
Okay. And so when you moved to the United States, you did you start nursing in Canada, or was that something that you started here in the United States?
No, I started nursing here in the United States.
Okay. And then you created, I don't know, when did you realize that you needed to start something, an organization that was going to talk about inclusion, cultural diversity, and all that?
Okay. So let me take you back a little bit.
Yeah.
When I came to the US, in Canada, I studied dental therapy.
Okay.
Dental therapy was particularly designed for the native Canadian kids. That's why I worked
Okay.
up in Rankin Inlet in the Northwest Territories because of the poor dental health the children had. So
Okay.
that program was designed particularly for the Canadian native kids.
Okay.
So once I came to the US, dental therapy was slightly different from a dental hygienist. Where
Okay.
in Canada, I could work under the supervision of a dentist and do just fine. But here
Mm-hmm.
in the US, I had to go back to school to get my license as a dental
Yeah.
assistant. So it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of difficult to actually get a job when I first came to the DC area. But then my husband, who was back then my boyfriend, said, "Why don't you try the CNA thing?" And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I don't know about it, but it doesn't hurt to try." And I thought about it and I said, well, I'm already working with people. So this is something that I can probably do.
Mm-hmm.
And I went ahead and applied for the CNA school program, finished that
Mm-hmm.
and successfully completed that and was working in the DC area. But
Mm-hmm.
I hated the traffic going down to downtown DC,
Everybody hates that traffic.
metro station, exactly. But anyway, I did fine with that. But knowing myself, I was not going to settle for just being a nursing assistant. And believe me
Yeah.
when I say that, I don't want to come through as saying a CNA is not important because I did it. I am who I am now, so we
You
all can.
wanted more.
I wanted more. And the
Yeah,
CNA is really a very important member of the healthcare
of
team.
course.
They're
There's
very
nothing
vital.
wrong with wanting more,
Exactly.
wanting to be better, wanting to do something better, wanting to help people more. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So to your question, once I finished the CNA, I then moved to Delaware where I was
Okay.
looking for that home. And when I got here, obviously I wanted to apply for a job as a CNA. And I had gone into Walmart one afternoon on my way to this hospital. And I
Mm-hmm.
met a young lady who admired what I was wearing.
Oh,
And we
wow.
started talking. And she said, "Where are you going, by the way?" I said, "Listen, I'm going to apply for a CNA job in one of the local hospitals."
Okay.
And I told her what hospital it was. And she said, "Oh, no, do not go there because they're not going to
Wow.
give you a job because you have a very heavy accent
Oh
and you're
my
an
God.
immigrant and you're a woman. Can you just
Oh,
like let that ring in your heads? Just imagine if
oh
somebody
my
said that
God.
to you." And I said, "Wow, racism does exist. Where I come from, we don't know anything about this. But I
Yeah.
tell you what, the words of my father flashed in my memory so quick. He always taught us if you want change, that change must begin with you."
With you, yes, definitely. And you said something about, what this lady told you. She said, don't apply here. They're not going to give you a job. I will tell you truly, racism exists. When you're a person of color, when you come from another country, you have an accent, you can have all the talents in the world, the degrees, the certifications, the diplomas, and everything. When you come here or when you go to another country, which is not yours, there is a challenge that you're going to face. And I think that was what kind of sparked that need for you to create an organization that was going to deal with things like this. Tell us about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great question. So, with that experience, I said people have preconceived notions and people have perceptions. We all do, right?
Yes,
But it is up
yes,
to that individual to change the narrative because
yes.
people will see you differently than you see yourself. But you
Mm-hmm,
can control how people see you and treat you.
mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, I often use the term, you're the captain of your ship.
Oh, yes.
And if you don't do that, people will treat you how they have coined your mindset to be
Mm-hmm,
treated if you
mm-hmm,
accept and allow that. So
mm-hmm,
when I took that experience and other experiences throughout my career as a nurse, and
mm-hmm.
I'll give you one example. I had just finished nursing school and I was a charge nurse in the intensive care unit. And one evening, there was a shooting between, of course, a white police officer and a group of African American male. So
Mm.
I ended up arriving on my shift, and this officer who had shot the African American male was on my unit.
Oh
So
my
I had
God.
to decide who was going to take care of him. So I ended up having to take him. And this is the
Wow.
conversation I had in myself. Hearing the stories, I could have easily said, well, because I'm black, I'm going to side with the black group.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
what
at the,
was it? What was that thing that made you not look at the color of his skin and not look at the fact that he was different from you, but just go with your heart and the fact that you wanted to help?
we are all human, regardless of the color, the ethnic background, your demographic characteristics. We
Yeah.
are human first. So I had to put on my human self and I had to put on my nursing hat because
Yes.
I am a people's servant and I cannot serve based on color or what values you have. You are
Yeah.
human as a holistic being. I have to serve you in time of need and in good times. So
Mm-hmm.
I told that to myself and I said, I cannot listen to the stories. I'm going in,
Yes.
I'm going to provide the best care to this officer. I'm going to express myself, explain what I'm going to do, and hopefully we together can provide the care that he needed that afternoon. And we did. He didn't see me as a black nurse coming
Yeah.
in to take care of him. He saw me as someone coming to his rescue. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the beauty of it and the type of challenges that have made me to really grow into a passion for this. Another example is coming here as an immigrant, even with the accent, having the job,
Yes.
even though I was told I will not get it, with how people treated you. But I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people, don't allow how you're treated. Use that as a teaching opportunity to educate people on things they don't know. Because
Yes.
often, especially here in the United States, most people have not left where they were born. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know anything about, say, Africa or any other country except what they see on the media.
That's true.
So I
That's
have
very true.
Yes, I have made it my responsibility to educate anyone that has anything to do with me about values that I care about. Not only about myself, but about the human race. Because we're first human and the rest can fall in any order, but we're all of the human race.
All right. So that story, did you finally apply to that place where the lady said don't apply? Did you
Yes, I
go ahead
did.
and apply? And did
Yes,
you get the job?
yes, I did. A month later.
You got the job.
Yes, yes, I
Oh
did.
my God. That was amazing. So what did that teach you? Like, what did that incident teach you?
That incident taught me several lessons.
Yes.
One of them is you have to marry the process of anything you do in your life. And
Yes.
that process is really learning from the challenges that you have had. Because life is life. Life is going to happen, right? It's
Yes.
this journey called life. Things will come at you, rocks will be thrown at you. You will meet stumbling blocks in every shape and form. But it's up to you to choose what you're going to take to better yourself for where you are at the current time and where you want to be in the future. So for me, once I got into that organization, I was happy to get in. There was no sign that my accent or my being an immigrant were predeterminants to this job when I interviewed. So when I
Yeah.
was offered the job, I was very determined to be me and
Right.
define how I was going to be treated
And
based
do
on
the
the fact
best
that
that you could do to change
exactly,
whatever it is. Show them that you
exactly,
got the skill, you know your
yeah.
job, and the rest is history.
Absolutely. So then the lady that the challenge I was trying to explain to you is one lady who always said to me, "Where do you come from? From across the waters?" You know, an older African American lady. And she did that repeatedly to a point where one afternoon I
You got
literally
annoyed.
I, I got hungry and I told her, "Come on, let's go in here. We need to talk." So we went into the break room and I told her, I said, "Miss Such and Such, listen, I just want to make you aware that you're being very condescending to
Yeah.
how you talk to me, how you ask me questions, and maybe it's me, but
Look
I'm
at you like
you're
as if you're not enough. But that's not
exactly,
true.
exactly." So, but the good news is we became friends. From
Wow.
me telling her she did not realize that she was doing that. And as a
Oh.
result, we've become friends for a long time. And when I had my
Wow.
challenges with childbirth, she would come and even help me. So
Wow.
the lesson learned from that is, you define your path, but you also keep an open mind and allow people to come in so you can embrace them because she did not know any better. But through
Yeah.
me teaching her, she now learned my values and what I will
Right.
and what I will not tolerate. And
I
because of
just
that, she respected me more.
Dr. D, I mean, I'm just smiling right now because you're giving us so much juice here, like so much information, so much value from your story. It's so inspiring and motivational. I've seen our Amy Bright, she says your story is so inspiring. And it's that's exactly the reason why we have a program like Spotlight where we can bring people, personalities, celebrities, to share their stories so that other people can be inspired, so other people can be motivated. You talked about your battles with childbirth, Dr. D. If that's not too much, would you like to share that story and, what you learned from that? Because that has become part of who you are and part of the education that you share with your organization and the work that you do.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Yes. Um, Usually it's challenging, but I have gone through the grieving process. So it was not an easy process, but I just said we learn from our past. So I have learned a
Yeah.
lot of things and now I can share.
Yeah.
So, we all as women, we have this dreams, getting married, having kids, when you're going to have kids and all whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, once I finished my nursing program, I was ready to have children. And when we started working toward that, it became very challenging. The first one was a miscarriage. And yes, we dealt with it. Doctors will tell you it's not uncommon. These things can happen. But then when it's happening every other pregnancy, it became
Recurrent.
redundant, it became very traumatizing. And
Oh.
it was 7 times.
Oh my God.
So
And
out
in
of
an
the
African community, that can be equated to something totally different.
yes, yes, you're right.
How did you manage that?
The 7 times, when you have a strong support system, I remember after the first miscarriage, our son came along, and he came along
Okay.
with a lot of challenges as well.
Okay.
Keith was born with sacral agenesis. He was born with bilateral club feet. He
Oh
was
my
born with a
God.
dislocated left hip, deaf on the right ear, one blue
Oh
eye, one
wow.
brown eye, and the blue is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with the eye. And
Mm-hmm.
just to have gone through the miscarriage, and then one child comes along with a lot of medical problems, and you're thinking, wow, at
Wow. As
17
if
weeks
this
of
was not enough.
yes, at 17 weeks of his pregnancy, we were actually told that we probably should terminate the pregnancy because at
Oh my
17
God.
weeks, his spinal cord could not be viewed on ultrasound. And
Oh
they thought he
no.
was going to come out with open back spina bifida. And my
Oh
husband
wow.
and I said, absolutely not. Not after we
Absolutely
have just
not.
gone through, the
Yeah.
miscarriages. And I said, whatever it is, we can take care of it. I remember
Mm-hmm.
one day we went for the ultrasound and they saw the club feet as well. And I'm like, that's small compared to what you're talking about, his spinal cord. So my
Mm-hmm.
husband not being in the medical profession, I had to explain to him the club feet is something that could be taken care of. It's nothing
Mm-hmm.
to really, grieve over. But my concern was the open back spina bifida, which thank God he did not come out as such. However,
Oh.
he did come out with the club feet that needed multiple repairs and the hip and the hearing and all whatnot. But I can honestly say, as you see from his pictures, a happy
Yes.
boy. We were
He
told
is.
he would not crawl. He crawled in a
Yeah.
hip spiker cast. He's
Oh
walking on
wow.
crutches. He puts a smile on our faces. He has just gone beyond what medicine will say
Is
he was.
he a policeman or
Yeah.
did I see wrong? Because I saw a picture of him in a police car
This boy
and
is
I was like, oh my God, I just had tears in my eyes. Like it was just so beautiful to see how
yeah,
strong he was. He had a smile on his face. And I was
always,
like, look at that. This is
always,
it. He's got
always.
his mom's strength. You
Yes,
can see it
always.
in him.
Yeah, he's not a police officer, but in the program that he's in, they do go to different field experiences. And they
Okay.
went to the, I believe it was the 911 center or police
Yes.
headquarters in Dover. And he
Mm-hmm.
told his teacher, I'm driving the cars because I need to get the bad guys off the street.
Oh,
Let him hop in there, and that thing has made him so proud. Like,
oh,
he
it's
talks
so
about it all
beautiful.
the time. Yes, thank
It's so
you.
beautiful. Wow, wow. This is
Yeah,
this is so amazing. Dr. G, thank you so much for sharing that. I believe
you're
it's
welcome.
something that it's not an easy thing for people to talk about, especially in our African community.
Yes,
Going through a miscarriage, there's so much cultural things attached to, the reason why they think the woman lost the baby or why the man can have a baby. It's just too much to deal with.
yes.
Coming from your perspective as a trainer, as a coach, as a diversity strategist, what do you want to say about about what's happening today in that sector,
What a great question.
especially in our community? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that great question. We are definitely living through some very challenging times. 2020 has gone down in the book in history books as the most whatever you want to define it. Everybody probably has a different perception of how they're going to define 2020.
That's
But I'm
true.
just waiting for December 31st to bury 2020. I don't know about you. But
Yeah, some people said, you know what? Please wake me up in 2021. They just want to go to sleep right now. It's drama upon drama.
I know it has definitely been drama. But to come to your question, diversity and inclusion, we end up using it interchangeably when in fact
Hmm.
they're very different.
Right.
Diversity is the characteristics that make us, whether you're
Hmm.
male, you're female, you're transgender, your race, your ethnic background. Most people view it from a race and ethnic perspective when it includes,
Yeah.
in fact, all the characteristics. And
Hmm.
inclusion is when we invite those that we have brought into our places of worship, our places of work, our
Hmm.
communities, into the room, but
Hmm.
onto the table.
Hmm.
What I say, don't bring them and leave them on the menu. Bring them on the table. Because you can't
Yeah.
just bring these people and have them on the sidelines. Because every
Yeah.
individual has a unique talent, a unique
Hmm.
idea, unique skills that when put together make a beautiful salad. I like the
Mm-hmm.
concept of the salad bowl because you think of the salad with all the different
It's a
ingredients,
mixture of all
chips,
kinds of nice
textures,
stuff.
flavors. Yeah, putting and making a beautiful, tasty, well, tasteful salad. So
Yeah.
if we look at diversity and inclusion from that aspect, then we would allow everybody that we have invited into our organization to have a voice and be
Mm-hmm.
heard and take their ideas into consideration when we're creating, building those creative and innovative solutions to the problems we have so that we
Mm-hmm.
can grow our businesses. Because I know if you're listening, the audience, if you have a business and you plan to open a business, if you're not taking advantage of minority, you're going to lose out on business.
Definitely, you will lose. It's just like an election too. You have to
Yeah.
take everybody into consideration.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we're soon going to be a minority majority nation. So if
Mm-hmm.
majority of the people are minority and you're not doing tapping into their talent and doing business with them, who are you going to do business with? You're
You're
not going to
missing
make a
out.
global impact. So you
Mm-hmm.
better start taking advantage and
Mm-hmm.
building those purposeful, strategic, and sustainable diversity and inclusion programs in your
Mm-hmm.
organization. Because
Mm-hmm.
once you do that and hold yourselves accountable and your people coming into your organization, then you're really building inclusive, unified organizations where everyone belongs and thrive. And that
Mm-hmm.
takes me to the new term belonging.
Right.
That's something that's really coming up in corporate America right now. How do you
Mm-hmm.
create an environment or company where everyone belongs? And what
Yes.
does that really mean? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you invite me to the table. I'm on the table and I'm using my voice, but you're ignoring me? Or are you going to make me feel wanted and take my ideas into consideration? So,
Yes.
belonging is that sense of community, is that sense of purpose, making somebody feel wanted, not just needed. Getting up in the morning when you don't feel like it and going because you have a purpose, but most
Right.
importantly, because you know your organization and the leadership cares about you
That is it. That
and
is
they
one
value
thing
you.
that is so vital
Yeah.
because a lot of times people feel, and there's this notion. I like to talk a lot about the African community because we feel like we are very, very concerned, and so many Africans tend to they lose their way when they get to a different place, a different country, where they feel like they don't belong. Maybe because of how they look, maybe because of how they speak, maybe because of how they dress up. I personally had a colleague who told me he cannot wear African, fabric outfits to work because everybody stares at him weirdly, and that makes him feel like really a little out of place. So for that reason, he decided not to wear them anymore. So that kind of like links up to what you're talking about inclusion and the fact that you know that where you're going to work, you are needed, you are accepted, you're loved. It's so important in our community, and I know that that's something that you stand so strongly for. I want to know, what was it that actually built up that passion for you to speak about inclusion and diversity, and include people in conversations from all walks of life, from all diverse races.
Another great question. As I shared earlier, my experiences, lived experience, the experiences I've had as a child growing up in Cameroon, West Africa,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and also coming here as a nursing assistant and having to build myself up, the challenges along the way, like
Mm-hmm.
the one I shared with the police officer and the lady
Yeah.
asking me what and where you come from, who
Mm-hmm.
has built lasting relationships with them. So in
Yeah.
those processes, I realized that I had to change the narrative. I had to educate them. So I had to keep an open mind. Who is going to come my way? Even
Mm-hmm.
in college here in the US, I
Mm-hmm.
had to talk to my teachers
Oh,
in a way
wow.
that they understand that my accent had nothing to do with my intelligence.
Exactly.
My accent did not make me less intelligent than other people in the classroom. So
Mm-hmm.
I always reminded people of that. And when
Mm-hmm.
that goes to say you have to have your sense of identity. When you
Mm-hmm.
have a sense of identity, you gain self-confidence and you can
Right.
approach every circumstance that you come across in a very professional and strategic manner.
Mm-hmm.
So with me growing up and having those challenges and going through the system here, it dawned on me that I can be the voice of change. I can
Yes.
be the voice for the voiceless. I can
Mm-hmm.
be for the voice of for those people who are still shy or maybe do not have the platform like I do or the
Yes.
educational background like I do to speak for themselves
Or even the courage, because
or the
sometimes
courage.
it's just that courage they don't have.
Exactly. So I took it upon myself because engaging others is reminding us that we have to start the journey from somewhere.
Yeah.
Start by really having the desire. Nobody's going to change you. With what we're
Except
going through
you.
right now, we all can get out on the streets and riot and do everything. And I'm not saying it's wrong, because we are sick and tired of racial inequality, but
Yeah.
we have to do it with some strategy so
Right.
that we are really getting the message across. When
Mm-hmm.
you do that and you own your self identity, then you can be relatable. You can relate to others and demand how you will be treated, like I said earlier on the show. So
Mm-hmm.
right now we have to individually do some soul searching. Where are we? Do you want something that happened to somebody else to happen to you? Do you want to be another George Floyd? Do you want to be
Yeah.
another Breonna Taylor? Do you want to
Yeah.
be, those people could be your child, your husband, your wife,
Yes.
your mother,
Yes.
your father.
Yes. That's
So what
true.
are you doing in your
What are you
own
doing?
individual way to make a difference? Because
Yes.
it's going to take each and every one of us. We cannot let this opportunity slip through our fingers. We
Yes.
have to each contribute to the solution. This
Mm-hmm.
talk has gone on for 400 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So now is the time for us to do it. Yes, it's been talked about. We're talking about it now. And I'm praying and hoping it's just not another lip service. I'm hoping
Mm-hmm.
that we truly get to a point where we can make a difference. We may not see the results right now, but let's leave a legacy for our children and our children's children so that they will say our parents fought for us. Things that others that have gone ahead have done for us, such as Congressman
Yeah.
John Lewis. We have got to do it. We cannot relent, but continue the conversation, but most importantly, get into action. Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
We can
Talk
talk
is cheap.
every day, but we must turn those
Take
conversations
action.
and take action. Connect with other organizations, collaborate for the benefit of building unified communities.
Do you think that your message is being heard? Do you think that the work that you've been doing is being seen by the people for whom you're actually putting it out for? Do you think that there's more to be done?
There is more to be done. One person
Okay.
cannot do it all. So I am asking for those of you watching that if you're interested in connecting and collaborating with Eunity Solutions, we promote culture, we promote diversity, we promote inclusion in so many different aspects while providing a wide array of other cutting edge services, such as our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Conference that is
Mm-hmm.
actually coming up next Saturday. So we put together experts from education, healthcare, law enforcement, cultural arts, and religion to put their heads together because we realize we cannot do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
Put our heads together and talk about issues that matter. Talk about how do we really work with police officers because we need them. We cannot just defund them. We need them. We still need safety in our communities. So how do we do that together? So if you're
Yes.
interested in coming, join us next Saturday. I'm inviting you. This is an open invitation. Get on Eventbrite, get a ticket, join us in this conversation. We're going to be talking about bridging. How do we bridge the racial gap? How do we
Mm-hmm.
build those inclusive communities where everyone belongs and thrive? Come
Yes.
in with some ideas. Let us put those ideas together and come up with some creative solutions. Be
Mm-hmm.
a member of all the task force in your community. Join heads and be a member. There's so much going on
Wow.
right now with policy changes, and we
Mm-hmm.
often criticize politics and we're not part of politics. Become
That's true.
politically savvy. Learn the concepts that are being held so that you can hold your elected officials accountable. You cannot
Wow.
sit and complain if you have not done your own work, but then
Mm-hmm.
hold them accountable.
You have to make your voice heard if you want a change to happen. You can't just sit in your home and complain because
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people do. They just sit home, they complain, this is not going right, this should not be like this, but they're not doing anything. They're not
absolutely.
stepping out, they're not trying to make a difference, they're not making their voice heard. And
Yes.
so nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. So I
Yes.
think that what you're doing is really, really amazing. And you also started an online broadcast, which is the truth with Dr. G. Tell us a little bit more about this program, The Truth with Dr. G.
So the truth, thank you again. The truth with Dr. G is really a platform to give you an opportunity to come and share your diverse perspectives. We accept
Mm-hmm.
you for who you are, we respect you, and we celebrate you. So we're
Mm-hmm.
all about promoting culture, giving you a platform to come and share those diverse perspectives, and we can inform the world of what we have in our various communities, whether you're in
Mm-hmm.
politics, whether you're in local or national politics, international politics, or you just want to impact communities, whether you're doing something for kids that are displaced, or you're doing something for your local community. What have
Yeah.
you? Come on, let us sit down and have a chat about those issues that matter,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully inspire people, empower them to be who they were destined to be, because there's great
Wow.
potential in everybody, and we just have to
There
help
is.
birth that.
Woo, Dr. G, I love to hear you talk. I just feel like I can listen to you on and on. It's just like a beautiful, music tape that's playing in my ears. It's just beautiful. There's so much value in all what you're saying. So when does your program come up so that people can connect and watch the truth? This is powerful. I've had to watch one of your editions where I think you had a police officer who was talking about a lot of issues, and you've had so many diverse guests. Today you had Auntie Tilda, who is a well-known musician, activist, motivational speaker. Tell us a little bit more about how people can get in contact with you for your program, or how they can just watch the truth with Dr. G.
Awesome. Thank you, sis. This program runs every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And
Okay.
like you say, if you want to come on the show, shoot me an email, euniceguamesia75@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we can set up a time. We can talk about what we can talk about on your particular day you're being a guest. And just
Yes.
shoot me an email with ideas that you have. I'm open. I keep an open mind. And we can
Yes.
definitely get you on the show.
All right, so there you go. I want us to talk a little bit about culture, where you come from. You're a proud woman of so. I've heard people call you Ya. Tell us about that a little bit.
Definitely, I love my culture. It's funny when people say I don't have a culture. What do you mean by you don't have a culture? You were birthed somewhere, some part of
Yes,
the
your
world.
roots are somewhere.
Culture is not race, culture is not ethnicity. Culture
Uh-huh.
is an environment where you
Mm-hmm.
grow and you learn values and beliefs of that environment. Your work culture is there, your church culture is there, your
Mm-hmm.
culture that you were birthed in is there. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
some of us show off our culture, and I saw my sister Uche, Dr. Lulu from Texas watching, and
Yes.
she's called Mama Trician, but she's Dr.
Okay.
Uchenna Ume,
All
my
right.
Nigerian sister.
Thank
And
you so much for tuning in. Keep sharing, keep commenting, and keep giving us this love and thumbs up. It just helps the program a lot.
yes, and we some of us happen to have real vibrant cultures. You
Yes.
mentioned earlier about wearing African clothing to work.
Mm-hmm.
I wear
Mm-hmm.
my clothes to work, to the classroom,
To everywhere.
everywhere. I even wore high heels to teach. Some days I have extra shoes because my students knew I'll be flipping when my feet get tired. Because I had
The boot of my car has shoes. Like I just turn around. Like when I get to the office, I wear my flats. I get to the office, I just turn around and I look behind. Like, which shoe can I wear today? And I just pick it up and I put it on. So yeah, I can relate to that.
yeah. So my office used to be packed with shoes, but I'm saying that I wear my African clothes.
Yes,
It brings me a sense of confidence,
proudly. Yes,
proudly my identity. And then
and
they say that some people are proud. And then I'm married
yes.
to another proud culture, which is Bali.
Oh
So,
wow,
so put two together, then you really have a hyped up woman. Just
Dr.
walking
G.
in. Yes.
I want to give you a song that I know you love so much. The title of that song is Be Proud
Oh,
by Witty Minstrel. You've just been talking about Be Proud, and I remember cheering an event where you
yes.
were part of that. You were one of the speakers, and you requested for that song specifically. So today, you were going to be the guest, and I said, I need to get this song. He was our guest some weeks back. Witty
Uh-huh.
Minstrel, let's listen to Be Proud, Dr. G. I hope you're going to be dancing in the background.
Oh. Chumchere, tatili, that way you are so. I don't even know the lyrics myself.
Where you want go say,
So, we're proud
we
of
proud
who
of
we
who
are.
we are. Thank you so much, Dr. G. I wanted to loosen the mode a little bit. We've
I
been talking
know.
about some really serious stuff here, talking about diversity, inclusion, and everything that's been happening. Of course, we'll still be talking about that, but I wanted to break it up a little bit to
Awesome.
talk about the proud land on salt where you hail from. You are called Ya. If I'm not mistaken, I heard somebody call you Ya. So tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, for transparent reasons, I am not a yeah. I don't own that
Okay.
title. I
Okay.
guess sometimes in so when you respect somebody and you want to treat them, I know exactly who said that. She's an elder sister to me, so it's
Okay.
kind of like babying you, kind of trying to pamper you, calling me yeah. But the
Mm-hmm.
title yeah is something that the fund has to give to you. You have to
Okay.
be thrown into that. So I am not a yeah. For those of you listening, I'm just
Okay.
going yeah to my big sisters.
But you are somebody who also holds the subculture right at its top. You've been doing so much for your community as well on the cultural side. I want you to tell us a little bit and also maybe use this opportunity, to say something to the sub people, maybe the fun who may come and watch this video later on.
Thank you for that question. We have really COVID-19 actually disturbed our plans for this year. We were
Okay.
going to really showcase our culture during our annual diversity ball that
Mm-hmm.
I launched back in May. We ended up having it virtually, not to the extent that I would have loved. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can still do that in 2021. But I love my culture. It's something that once the music comes on, like you say, it moves me, it unites me in the community that I am because they see how I express my love for that culture. And I
Mm-hmm.
strongly encourage everyone, if you don't know who you are, you need to discover your purpose, not only that, but your cultural identity. Because
Mm-hmm.
it is a unifying force. It melts the heart, it soothes the heart.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
when you're having difficulties. So, yes, I celebrate it anywhere I am, and I do plan on celebrating it with other programs that will be coming up. But one
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to launch this year is the diversity ball, and definitely Insult will be at the top.
Oh, yes. So,
Yeah.
do you know how to speak your language a little bit? Because I really want you to, send a message to your people in their language so that they can say, "Hey, this is our sister talking." Let them feel that vibration coming from you.
Of course, of course. I've been gone for, I guess, a minute from Cameroon, and in so in
Mm-hmm.
particular. But I fervem, ayivem, ata, mshativen wiradrum. Msu ivenji mo wong edzanlen. Abinyobiga a. Ben wa le for a fervene, la ben yo afune na ferven. Ben zi am shu mo on. Ileja sa drobeson yelea. Because abeson lo, aleya kinyoke wiri yi. Wiri asambamsi, wiri ayo sambamsi. Besendre wiri ayo yi carry fa. Besendre wiri aku yi tatin for beson bitu. So lonven a fervem a bavem a mami. Una fervem ve lumen una biki. Jibesen amashu mo on ilayo ata bitu una wiri. Layo aleji ven ki kerkin or ven ki kerkisa. Besen ku voma bitu besen. It's a magin yang lea jibsen sayi yelea for lia wong wasen adwa shofombi. Kwa toma
Wow.
adwa shofombi. There
Woo!
again.
I love it. I see Uchena Ume. She says, I love it. So can you give us a brief translation of what you were saying there? Because I just heard a beautiful sound like in my ears. I almost started dancing here.
Oh.
Just tell us what were you saying?
But basically, what I'm saying is, with a lot going on in Cameroon in particular, I'm reminding our parents, our brothers and sisters that we really should stay as one voice. We should
Oh
unite
wow.
for the benefit of our culture, for the benefit of our children, and for the benefit of our country.
Oh
Because there's
wow.
so much. We and so people are people who have been marginalized, if I were to use that word. So I'm begging
Okay.
my brothers and sisters that we should think of who we are, where we want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and where we want our children to be, and really
Mm-hmm.
unite in one voice and not look at who has what and who doesn't have what, but come
Mm-hmm.
together and help each other for the benefit of our country.
Oh wow, thank you so much, Dr. G, for that beautiful, beautiful message. And it's so important, especially in this period where so many people are going, at loggerheads, families are getting separated. There's just so much chaos, stress,
Yes.
depression going on. People are just, going through the worst patch of their lives. People have lost their jobs, they've lost their source of livelihood. People are just in chaos, like in a chaotic situation.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really like a timely message for you to, send out to your people. All right, Dr. G, there was something that happened earlier this week, and I remember telling you off camera. I just wanted us to touch a little bit on that, and maybe what are the best ways for us to tackle situations like that. A young lady, a young girl was raped and killed in Cameroon, and people were divided. Okay, some people were sympathizing with the family, and other people were saying other things. What do you think is the best way to communicate about things like this?
That is it's a good question, but very disheartening circumstance.
It is.
And I particularly didn't even hear about this until you told me today.
Mm-hmm.
But as I reflect on it, what I'm thinking is rape. Let's define it. And Dr. Lulu can actually help with this, because that's really her her specialty with
Yeah,
soul
that's a
science and
picture.
all of that.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, look at the beautiful soul. So rape is, if you really let's put this in perspective. Rape is when someone intentionally penetrates another person's vagina, anus, or mouth with a penis without the consent of that other person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear of assault, where someone penetrates another person's vagina again with another object. It could be anything. But if you think about it, many people will say, oh, it's the woman's fault because of how they dressed. Maybe this person knew the person or not. The fact is, often research has proven that most people who are raped by someone who know them, whether it's
Yes.
a boyfriend, whether it's a family member, whether it's their colleague.
Families, a
Yes,
lot of families are going through this. Like, if we really actually open people's minds, families will tell you they've been hiding secrets because
yes.
this cousin raped this niece, this one raped this one. It's just, but they keep it as a family lock and key until the inevitable happens. Like in the case of this young girl who's just 17 years, who had just passed her BAPC exams, which is the equivalent of the GCE ordinary levels.
So really it's about engaging in such conversations, and I applaud you for bringing that on. It's about bringing awareness to what is happening in our society, especially if we're talking about Cameroon. The social environment doesn't allow for certain things. It's a stigma if you talk about it, or you're putting that uncle, that aunt down because they raped such and such. So it's not really speaking out about the problems that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really more of an educational thing again, to go back and educate our communities. We have Jangis back home. We have meeting houses, really
Yes.
talking to women that by you coming out and saying maybe your husband raped your daughter or raped their stepdaughter, it's not a stigma, it's not a crime, because you're trying to rescue your child. You're trying to save that child. What you're doing by not talking is allowing the victimizer to do it, thinking it's normal.
To do it again, to do it again and again.
Exactly. They'll do it again to another cousin or niece or who have you. So it is really about coming out, talking about it, letting women know that it is okay when your child has been hurt. It is okay to speak against it. You're not saying that person, maybe they just need help. It could be a medical situation making them become a rapist. I don't know. Dr. Uche, help me. Is that a medical situation? It could be just the environment they grew up. Whatever is making them do that, it's a no-no. It's affecting children. A 17-year-old's life should not be cut short because of a man trying to satisfy their emotions.
I think she was raped by multiple people.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is more of an assault attack.
Yeah. And just a few days ago, we also had a Cameroonian singer who came out to talk about her story. You had mixed reactions. At the same time, you don't know if people should really come out to tell their stories or if they should just keep it, because we're not really sure if our community is ready to hear this. Because sometimes you would see they tend to protect the rapist. They tend to protect those people who assault others instead of speaking out. So as a professional, as a coach, as a motivational speaker, somebody who's had to deal with a lot of issues related to this, and especially someone who's been in the health field for so long, what would you say is the best way, the best approach to this situation?
First, let me answer that question by saying stigma is a big problem, and it
Yes.
has to do with the mindset. And the men who do such acts, it's either they haven't dealt with their life. If we think about, what is it, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, based on where you are at the moment as a child, going through those stages of life. Sometimes we haven't lived and gone through the basic needs of life, and
Yes.
something is missing. And when that thing is missing, it becomes toxic. That
Hmm.
is repeated behavior, the environment that you've lived in. Maybe where you grew up, maybe your uncle, your dad did the same thing, and now you're doing the same because you didn't
Oh
learn
my
any
God.
different. That's the
Yeah.
behavior. With that said, so we must speak out about it. And how do we speak out about it? It's through educating groups of people. Back in Africa, we have this Njangi thing where people get together on Sundays. Now, women are becoming very cognizant of what's happening health wise and also just social life as a whole. So it's really
Hmm.
about educating them, giving those opportunities, creating those NGOs that can really go in and encourage and empower and inspire those that have gone through it, those who will be going through it, so that together we can really start speaking in one voice. If there's anything like policies in Cameroon, then also that needs to be looked at. I know we live in a
Yes.
longless community, but it's time to hold those who are sitting in power to really start thinking about how to create policies that people who do such acts will be held accountable.
Yes. That, I think that thing's
There's no
really the
punishment.
mentalities.
It's
Yes.
the mentality. If there's no punishment, they're going to keep doing it anyway. I did it. I'm home. Somebody's child is dead.
This person's son is being protected because they are this person's son, whereas they have done this to this person. And you see the person who is at the, the underprivileged person who doesn't have the means cannot fight. And you see a woman, maybe because she's trying to save her marriage, her husband does that to her daughter, and she doesn't say anything because she wants to save her marriage. You see that in families. This cousin has raped this niece. They keep it under lock and key, and they tell you, shh, don't disgrace our family. Don't say things like that. And then the worst happens. Like, I was personally touched by this because this little girl, 17 years old, she just passed her BAPC, and then this happened to her. I can only imagine the pain that her parents are going through. And we're not even sure of what measures are being taken at the moment, to get those perpetrators
Mhm.
of the act, behind bars, because that's what should be happening. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
And how can we really heal and stop these from happening if we're not talking about it?
Yes.
It has to be talked about. If we don't talk about it, it's not brought to awareness. And so they will just continue doing the same thing. As someone who has lost kids, I can only imagine how painful it is for those parents that have invested so much in their daughter. And then after she becomes successful by passing her exams to move forward in life, and now she's snatched away. It's painful.
Yes, it is
It's
painful.
painful.
Yeah, so Dr. G, I know that these are issues that you deal with on a daily basis because all of these issues that you work on, diversity and inclusion, they are like far and wide. In the health sector, you've had to see similar situations, and with your organization, you are doing so much to change, especially mentalities. Would you like to, tell us a little bit more about the program that you have coming up and some of the issues that you're going to be talking about?
Awesome. Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. Um, Next Saturday, which is October the 10th, we are hosting our annual Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Conference. And
Okay.
this conference is really, the intent for it is to bring experts from the area of education, healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
religion, cultural arts, and the corporate world and law enforcement to really
Okay.
share ideas on how we can bridge the racial gap in our various communities. Also, to talk about how we can build those unified and inclusive organizations where everyone belongs. And
Mm-hmm.
not only just talking about the problems and the how, but what are we going to do, the action piece. So our conference is usually well attended. Last year, 99% of the attendees said they will come back this year, and
Okay.
they will be sharing information in their various organizations. Unfortunately, we cannot do in person this year due to COVID,
Yeah.
because our audience safety is our priority. We are doing it virtual, so you're going to be able to come on from the comfort of your homes. How
Yes.
beautiful. You can be in your pajamas and still come on and be a part of it. Bring your questions. We have 3
Yeah.
panels, and one panel is talking about bridging the gap. The other panel is talking about building inclusivity, and the third panel is talking about how truly creating those cultures where you belong. And I kid
Mm-hmm.
you not, we have curated this program so much that the speakers are phenomenal. The
Okay.
speakers range from Logan Herring. He is the CEO of the Rich Community here in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
We also have a second keynote speaker is Michelle Taylor, who is the CEO of United Way, Delaware. We have speakers on the panel such as Linda Array, the CEO of Women in Leadership Development and Empowerment.
Oh
Moderating
yes.
the third panel, we have Patience Adjo Foster out of the Diversity and Inclusion Director out of Drexel University. I have Charlie, who is the CEO of a big NGO and the Mill Summit here in Delaware. We have Apostle Frank, who left FBI and became a pastor. It is
Oh
a
wow.
variety. Surinda, who is the Smart Kid CEO. Dr. Sobia, who is Muslim and a dentist talking about Islamic issues. I'm
Wow.
telling you, I can go on and on and on.
Dr.
We have
G, this
healthcare
sounds like
professionals, so you need to be there. You
this
cannot
sounds like the
visit
program we
Cameroon
should
from
definitely
Canada around the
attend.
world. Yes,
Oh yes.
definitely should. And we should put up the Eventbrite link. It's
Yes.
diversity and inclusion.eventbrite.com. And you can
Okay.
get tickets. Ticket sales end on Wednesday at midnight. Come on, join us so we can together build the communities that we want to see and bring the change we want.
And of course, make our voices heard. There is
Absolutely.
nothing more important than making your voice heard in a community where you belong. We all have a say. We are all unique. We have our own gifts. We have also duties and responsibilities to
Absolutely.
ourselves, to our families, to our communities, to the world. So
Absolutely.
don't be quiet.
Yes.
Don't be quiet. Don't stay quiet. Make your voice heard. It's so,
Amen.
so, so important.
Absolutely.
Wow. Doc, we've been talking for 1 hour. I can't even
Oh,
believe that
wow.
we've been here for one whole hour. This has just been so enriching, so inspiring, just so much that I've taken in. I just don't know what to say. I'm just gonna say thank you, Doc, for making the time to come speak with us and share your experience with us. Um, would you have any last words for your viewers watching and for all those who've been following you and supporting you in your work?
Oh, thank you so much, Gwen, for having me on your platform. You are doing some amazing work, and just hold your head up high and continue doing what you're doing. To the viewers, today is Saturday, October 3rd. Remember this.
Yes.
If you have never ever wanted to do better than where you are right now, today is the first day. You need to get your baton and start going and start running. If you cannot run, you can walk. If you cannot walk, you can crawl. The important thing is that you finally arrive at your destination, because you
Mm-hmm.
have a destination. You were born with potential. It is
Yes.
just a matter of you reaching in and tapping into that potential. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to fail. I'm not saying you're not going to fail, but that failure cannot be accepted as the norm.
Yes.
Failure simply means continue, next opportunity. So when you fail, just learn through that process. Take something from it and better yourself so that you can become that future you that you want to be. Also, you must have a framework of principles. Because if you're meeting challenges and you have no framework of principles, guess what? You're going to just give up. There is
Yes.
no giving up, ladies and gentlemen. My brothers and sisters, have a framework. I have Dr. G's 5P principles. Your purpose, your passion, your patience, your persistence, and your perseverance. Your perseverance, they've already given up on you, but you can't give up
Yes.
on yourself. So
You
I say
can.
perseverance is for them, not for you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
keep changing your strategy and feeding your mind with the right material so that tomorrow you can be that person that said you will not be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're sitting on the sidelines watching at you, saying, no, she can't do that. No, he
They
can't do
know
that.
you're gonna fail. Prove them
Yes,
wrong.
but keep
Prove
failing.
yourself right.
Failing because eventually you will get to that finish line because
Oh
that's
yes.
where God had made you and wanted you to be. But you have got to keep an open mind and build a strategy with intention. Be intentional, unapologetic to anyone,
Oh
and you
yes.
will go to where you were originally intended to be. So if you want to join us in the struggle, in this journey called life, you know how to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
Oh yes.
and let's do it. Life is fun if we make it fun. Don't bring
Life is
fun
fun.
with other things. Let's go. Teddy, I see
Let's
you.
go. Teddy, he's coming late. Teddy, you'll get red card, man. You come late every day. You
Like
have been late. I just want to say hello to everybody watching. Let me just take that time to just say hello to them because that's also part of the program. We want you all to know you're part of this family and we celebrate you. We celebrate you. We are so grateful for your time. Our Amy Bright, of course. Uchena Ume, doctor, right?
Yes,
You
Dr.
said she's doctor.
Mm,
Dr. Uchena Ume, thank you so much for being there from the beginning until now. Claude Songe, he's going to be our guest on Spotlight next Saturday. Aqua Nui, who is watching from Yaoundé, Cameroon. Karine Verlaine, she's
wow,
watching from Canada. Uh, Jane Manjo, she says you never
that's my
back off
sister.
Dr. G. The sky will be your springboard. Love
That's my baby
you.
sister.
Okay, Tengu Fun says live from Douala. Greetings, Dr. G.
Thank
Our Amy Bright says you are amazing.
you.
Yeah, Jane, she says that she used to watch me on Tam Tam Weekend. Love you too. Thank you so much. Our Amy Bright says your story is so inspiring. Um, yes, then we have Njueng, who said she's watching from Douala. Great job, Dr. G. Uchena Ume, I think she was giving a contribution there. She said that, sis, I am needing to come on both of your shows. Let's go. Oh yes, definitely. Just let us know. Just let Dr. G take care of it. Whenever you're ready, that's not a problem. Spotlight is here for you. This is family. Um, okay. Let's see more messages down there. I just don't want to read the same messages. Yeah, Dr. Uchena said usually it is trauma that has not been addressed, male toxicity and other issues. I think she was responding to one of those questions that you asked at some point, Dr. G. And then, of course, Jay Teddy, he said, Mishatio Yandom. And then G Gwendolyn, she was saying hello. Yes, you were late, darling, but we're so happy to have you. Emmanuel Fongu, keep the ball rolling. Thank you all, guys. If I did not read your message, please don't hold me to that. Array Tech, thank you so much. Gospel artist in Cameroon. Amazing, amazing gospel artist. Rhoda Victory, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We are just so grateful, Dr. G. These are people that tune in to spend
Awesome.
this time with you. And we always just want to take that time to just say hello to them. Go Alixmon, of course, watching from Canada. She
Oh,
says,
wow.
wow, powerful words, Dr. G.
Oh, thank you.
Dr. G, thank you so much. You've been such an inspiration today. I mean, I can listen to you on and on and on and on. You
Oh,
just have, there's just so much about you that I admire on a personal and professional level. And I just want to say, keep doing the work that you're doing, keep inspiring our community. We love you so much. We appreciate your work.
oh, thank you so much. Love you more.
All
And
right.
thank
So,
you
hey,
to
guys.
everyone watching and for all your contributions.
Yes. So, hey guys, Dr. G has a program coming up next Saturday, and you need to, we're going to include the Eventbrite link right after this, Dr. G. You can add that in the comment section later on, just so that people can go there if they want to participate. Are they going to pay a fee? How much is it?
Yes, it's $45.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So you have to pay $45. Just look for the link, look out for that Eventbrite link. This is going to be a life-changing event, and you've heard the quality of panelists who are going to be there. You can already tell the kind of information that you're going to be soaking into your system, not
Yeah.
to even talk of that network that you're going to be diving into, because this is it. Networking is the biggest thing on earth. If you don't know, let me tell you today, the people you talk to, the people you connect with, those are the people that can either make you grow or fail.
Yeah.
So you
And
got to choose wisely.
let me just add to that. We do have a 30-minute power networking at the end of the day, at the
Okay.
end of the conference. So you just took it right from my mouth. There will be a
There
power
you go.
networking session at the end
Yeah.
of the conference.
So,
So
guys, you take it away. Dr. G has been amazing. If you missed out on that, just go back to our comment section, go back to the promo for this program, and read everything about Dr. G. You can go to her website. You can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and LinkedIn, right?
yes.
All right, Dr. G, we're not going to abuse of your time. We'll just say
Oh,
thank you so much for being wonderful and for sharing this Saturday afternoon with us.
thank you so much, my dear. And thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you so much, Dr. G. God bless you.
You too.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. You all are amazing. You know, you're already part of this family, and we appreciate every single minute that we spend with you. Our guest on today's program was Dr. Eunice Gwanmesia. She is the CEO and founder of Unity Solutions. It's a cultural diversity and inclusion organization. They have an event that's coming up on the 10th of October, which you do not have to miss. Just check out, look out for the Eventbrite link. She's going to add that on the comment section of this program, just so that if you have missed it, you can go there, get yourself registered, and be part of this amazing event. All right, guys, next Saturday we're going to have, oh, I think on Wednesday we're going to have a program. And this is because a lot of you have been requesting that we do programs more often. And I will tell you that we have a request. The guest list is so long, and we don't have enough Saturdays to fit in everybody. So we're going to start doing programs on Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And I believe that 12 o'clock will be 5 p.m. Cameroon time for those who will be watching from Cameroon. So this Wednesday, we're going to have somebody come to us about information technology careers. You know, with the COVID pandemic, so many people have lost their jobs, but there are still professions where people have never been out of work for once. One of such professions is the information technology profession. We're going to have a professional on that day who will come on Wednesday. So set your calendars for Wednesday and come and get some information on how to get enrolled in their next session, I believe, which is starting on the 10th of October. All right. So we're going to have that program Wednesday, and on Saturday we'll definitely have Claude Songe, who is the CEO and founder of Channel 3 Zones, which is a cultural and media channel based in France. All right, you guys take care of yourselves. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love you guys. We celebrate you every day, and we appreciate every single day and every single minute that we spend with you. All right. You heard what Dr. G said. If you don't like what you see, be the change. Okay? Make your voice heard. You have a voice, you have a say, you can do it, you can make a change. I'll see you on Wednesday at 12 noon, 5 p.m. Cameroon time, when we'll be talking about IT careers and the future of information technology. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Okay? Mwah.